How many times do you see a person that helps someone? For the past 20 years, humanity has become more aggressive, violent, and passive. But there are people who destroyed this myth, and I will show you only 10 of these people. Hello guys, and today our topic is about 10 events that prove that humanity hasn't died for today. In the first case, we see one subway rider had the good heart to go up to a homeless man sitting on the other side of the car and give him the shirt off his back after seeing he was shirtless. He then proceeded to give the homeless gentleman his beanie as well to help protect him from the cold New York winter. Imagine one day you have to swim to go to work. This teacher in Malappuram has been doing exactly that for the last 20 years. Sign Curry captures the inspirational story of 45-year-old Abdul Malik, who has been swimming across a river to reach school on time. Malik is today an inspiration not just for his colleagues, but for hundreds of students in his school who are now taking to swimming as a serious pastime. Meet the teacher who is a motivation for all. A penniless woman has spent 4 months living in her car in an Asda car park because she won't give up her beloved dogs. Hilary Barrows, 57, returned to Kent in January after 8 years living and working as an English teacher across Europe. She went into privately rented accommodation thinking she would soon find work, but failed to find a job and ran out of money after 3 weeks. She was offered emergency council accommodation on condition that she gave up her 2 dogs, Robbie and Cleo. Japanese train stops at remote station twice a day for only 1 passenger. Kana Harada is the only person to board the special train at 7:04 a.m. and return in the evening at 5:08 p.m.
I'll fight this alone on my road to ruin. I'll follow you home. Whenever we'll get there, we'll start with an
This is one of those stories that will fill your heart with joy and leave you smiling.
I'll take 3 for the team and play again.
Kami Shirataki, a remote train station in Hokkaido, Japan that was meant to close down 3 years ago, has stayed active to cater to 1 lone passenger.
Me the fire in the desert sun. I felt the desire.
A train makes stops at the station twice each day, just so a teen can travel to and from high school.
I really wanna know, is this a disaster?
A 10-year-old goat named Mr. G nearly starved himself to death after being separated from his burrow friend, Jellybean.
I'll cherish my demons and
The farm friends were sent to live at different sanctuaries after being rescued from a California hoarder who kept dozens of dogs and 3 barnyard animals in squalid conditions. Though Mr. G was finally free of his abusive owner at Animal Place, he refused to eat or even move for 4 straight days.
with you I'm weak, but I'm nothing without you. Can anyone show me a way not to lose you?
selfless homeless man offered a stranded student his last remaining £3 so she could pay for a taxi to get home safely. The remarkable act of kindness has been reciprocated, and she is now spending 24 hours on the street to raise him much-needed cash for the deposit on a flat. And Dominique Harrison Benson, 22, has already smashed her target of raising £12,500 for the man, identified only as Robbie. Five-days-old calf rescued from a big muddy pond where there used to be a swamp. The mother, Zahava, and family were close by and were able to reunite them back together. Here is a good example of kind people, which spent some time to help the elephant. "13-year-old Cameron Simmons called the police station because he was upset after having a fight with his mom. When he brought Simmons home, he noticed that the boy didn't have a lot of things that kids should have, such as a bed and a desk. A few weeks later, he showed up at Simmons' house with a truck full of gifts. Because a police officer was willing to step out of his comfort zone, a teen in need has a place to study, somewhere comfortable to sleep, and most importantly, an amazing new role model. A 48-year-old man with no arms is looking after his 91-year-old mother and their farm, alone, in a remote village. The Chongqing Evening News reports, Chen Yingxing lost both of his arms at the age of 7 from a high-voltage electric shock. Apart from doing chores around the house, looking after livestock, and cultivating 2 hectares of farmland, Chen also cares for his invalid mother. A young male lion caught in a snare which slowly tightened around his neck as he grew older has been saved after a rescue operation was launched. The lion was first spotted trapped in the snare in Mikumi National Park in Tanzania back in 2009, but several attempts to rescue him failed. After 3 years, the cord had become so tightly wrapped around the lion's neck that he was left unable to hunt, and his gaping wound attracted flies and infection. The young animal would soon have been lying in agony in the African bush facing a certain death. But an operation to sedate the lion and remove the snare was launched successfully in 2011 year. Thanks for watching, guys. Watch more. Bye.